and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We consider this in our DNA. We are a nation of immigrants.
More refugees are coming to the area, and that's going to be a trend for quite some time.
That information came during a packed house at the Building Bridges Conference in Fargo, hosted by Lutheran Social Services.
Valley News Team's immigration and relocation reporter Bradford Eric had a chance to talk with a top State Department official about this issue.
Dispel myths and find out how the community feels about refugees coming to the area. That's why Larry Bartlett from the U.S. State Department is here.
It's one of the ways that our country and the citizens of our country provide support to others.
Bartlett's session included covering how the refugee admission process works and the issues surrounding admitting Syrian refugees to the country.
In the case of Syria and Iraq both, those were heavily authoritarian governments that had a lot of and actually civil society had a lot of documentation, so marriage licenses, birth certificates, other identity cards that people carry with them. So that's one way that we try to verify people's identities.
But what Bartlett says directly contradicts what FBI Director James Comey expressed some months ago when he said there's no way to properly screen these people.
Refugees have more security screening, and it's something that we take very seriously. It's something that is managed by the Department of State and by the Department of Homeland Security.
Furthermore, Bartlett says he's had conversations with at least one local school district regarding their ELL program and plans to take back to Washington those concerns about the need for more resources for districts facing rising numbers of students not speaking English. This conference comes amid heavy campaigning in New York by Democratic Party presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton, saying she would create an office dedicated to solving issues related to immigration and refugees. And just weeks ago, Ted Cruz called for patrolling Muslim neighborhoods and freezing immigration from areas affected by ISIS. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
If you remember, Valley News Live commissioned and paid for a study last fall to gauge your opinions regarding this area being a resettlement hub for refugees. We've posted that survey again if you wish to check it out. Also, the Building Bridges Conference continues locally tomorrow.
A warm and sunny Wednesday out there today. Not bad at all. Let's head over to Hutch Johnson for a first look at what tonight will look like. Hutch?
Well, get out and enjoy this evening. It is almost perfect. Hardly any wind, and we have not seen windless weather for some time. A lot of 70s across the Dakotas, even some 80s in the Rapid City area. We're enjoying 50s and 60s across much of western Minnesota as well. Thunderstorms developing in the western Dakotas, and these are drifting our way. But this evening looks pretty quiet with the storms between now and 7 o'clock blossoming and moving out toward the Bismarck area. They could impact our western counties overnight. But for this evening, temperatures slowly falling into the 40s most locations. The wind, Andrea, picks up just a pinch, but a whole lot easier to deal with 12 miles per hour.
Oh, yeah.
Than 42 miles per hour.
Piece of cake, yeah.
Yes.
Nice night.
Yep, some more warmth and some rain in the forecast. Details will be up shortly.
All right, thank you. A Fargo man is behind bars after nearly hitting a school bus while he was driving drunk. Police arrested this man, Kashki Sheikh Mohammed. He had a blood alcohol level of 0.31%. The legal limit is 0.08. Mohammed was arrested for DWI, not having a driver's license, and careless driving. He also had an active warrant for DWI out of Minnesota's Hennepin County. No children were on the bus at the time. Instead, the bus was full of cops looking for distracted drivers as part of a distracted driving campaign.
One man's in jail tonight after leading police in a wild car chase along sidewalks and over a walk bridge in Grand Forks. 27-year-old Cody Lout of Grand Forks faces multiple criminal traffic charges. He was stopped in part because the tires on his vehicle went flat from running into curbs and other obstacles. He also crashed into a tree before being arrested on the practice football field near Purpur Arena.
This person was driving in an erratic manner, swerving towards oncoming vehicles and so forth.
Cody Lout was earlier convicted of fleeing a police officer and reckless endangerment. It happened last year. He has a very long criminal history, including felony charges.
The Grand Forks Police Department is asking for your help in identifying this woman of interest. Police say the request stems from a shoplifting complaint that was reported at Kohl's in Grand Forks. If you know anything about this woman, you're asked to call police at 787-8009 or text the word tipster and the tip to 847-4111.
There's a new trend that's raising concerns surrounding recent drug overdoses in our area. Officials say just narc me is something said by drug users who are about to overdose when someone else who is sober gives them a shot of Narcan.
U.S. Attorney Chris Myers sat down with Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood to talk about the dangers of the wingman mentality.
We're seeing an increase in kids going to the hospital, kids dying, and it's time for us to act.
The trend is frightening.
It's just like asking a rattlesnake to bite you if there's an antidote available, and it's extremely risky behavior.
U.S. Attorney for North Dakota Chris Myers recently worked on a case that exposed the ugly truth.
Kids would go out and party, and they would always have a wingman. Well, in the opiate culture, the wingman was described as the person that would carry the Narcan that night. They wouldn't be using that night, and they would make sure that if somebody overdosed, they could inject them with Narcan to hopefully save their life.
It's also called Just Narc Me, and given the stark rise in overdoses in the Fargo-Moorhead community, Myers wants to put an end to it.
Anytime kids are dancing on the edge of life and death, that's a bad thing for our society.
But Myers wants to emphasize that being a wingman can fail.
Narcan doesn't always work. Unless the timing is right, Narcan may not save you.
Myers will be a keynote speaker at the Eyes Wide Open event in May to highlight the drug abuse problem in our area.
It's not going to be easy, but we cannot, as law enforcement, do it alone. We need the community's help. People need to be educated about the dangers. Kids really need to be educated about the dangers, and attitudes have to change.
In Fargo, Christine Stanwood, Valley News Live.
And coming up on 6:30 Point of View, Chris Myers joins Chris Berg to continue the conversation on overdoses. To find out more about the Eyes Wide Open event, head to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story. And what do you think about this way to help stop overdoses? Let us know on our Facebook page. Once there, you'll also be able to follow the latest news, weather, and breaking news updates anytime on your feed. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day.
If you have a child with autism, you need to know about some proposed changes that could impact treatment in North Dakota. Services from the Autism Spectrum Disorders Medicaid waiver will be placed underneath the Medicaid state plan, and that's where the concern comes in for some.
The behavior analyst, who's the expert to write the programs and things like that, is being taken out and moved into the state plan. I'm concerned about what those reimbursement rates are going to be for the things that go into the state plan.
Smith adds, if those reimbursement rates for the providers are too low under the state plan, many families will lose that much needed service. To comment on these proposed changes, go to our website at valleynewslive.com and look for this story.
The construction season is about to shift into high gear in Moorhead, and it starts with some likely issues during tomorrow's commute. Orange barrels were lining the west side of 8th Street today, and that's one of two major traffic arteries that will be affected. The other is Main Avenue. Starting tomorrow on Main Avenue, we'll lose a lane eastbound from the Red River Bridge to 7th Street. We will also lose a lane going southbound on 8th Street between 14th and 20th Avenues South. These are the beginning phases for this year, or of what is called the SIMS project. You're going to see pavement repairs, landscaping, and traffic light improvements. Also tomorrow, the ramp off eastbound I-94 onto 20th Street is going to be closed. It'll be shut down at 9 tomorrow morning and then reopened mid-afternoon.
Today was a chance to get a job, perhaps start a new career for around 800 people. They came to the Fargo Dome looking for work and opportunity. This job fair was part of a major event for people who are homeless, perhaps new to this country, or may have had a run-in with the law. Today's event also helped them prepare for the job market, including haircuts, IDs, and clothing.
One of the people that was doing interviews was a person who had been at our first job fair 4 years ago. She came back as a human resource person interviewing people. So she was really a great example of somebody who came to the event, found a career, has stuck with that job for 4 years, and is now very successful in her career.
Hone says that's what this is about, helping people find jobs that turn into careers. More than 20 employers were a part of today's event.
Getting a deer license in North Dakota has been frustrating in recent years. Later on Valley News Live at 6, why next year could be better.
Many of us saw a beautiful sunrise and a lot of sunshine on our shoulders, warming temperatures in the 60s and 70s in the Dakotas. It does look like we warm up, but a good chance of soaking showers in the forecast as well. Details are straight ahead.